Holy Spirit has been revealing to me things that I didn't understand when he either gave me the dream or spoke then. I wrote down a few notes of the timeline of what has happened and what's been revealed to me through the Holy Spirit. So over a year ago, I remember I was reading the book of Exodus, and it was a hard time in my life. And I remember when I got to the part of the plagues, I felt in my spirit judgment coming on a specific person that has done a lot of harm to my family. I remember I was talking to my mom, telling her about it. I finally received some word on what's going to come, and I remember crying so hard because that judgment that was coming, I didn't feel it for just that one person. I felt it heavy for everybody, for myself, for everybody, because God comes to judge not one but all. And I remember crying because of the plagues that had came upon Egypt that are coming to us too. So that was like over a year ago. So this summer in July, I went to Aquatica. We were with the family, and it had stormed really bad to the point that there were certain parts of Aquatica that were flooded. I think it was like up to the knee. I'm 5 foot, so to me it was like up to my knees. And I remember when we were walking through the heavily flooded places, I was reminded of the dream that I had like a year or two ago. A disaster had happened, and me and my family were going up north to evacuate Florida. We were looking for refuge up north out of the state, and the water was up to our knees. In the dream, I thought it was the prophecy that has been mentioned for years, where the asteroid hits and then it causes a huge tsunami up the east coast. And I mentioned it to my mom, and then we just didn't think nothing of it. But then a month after, I had a dream that had marked God's judgment and wrath. I mentioned in the other video, ever since I personally have seen more chaos break out in America. And even for years, God's people have had a sense of urgency in our spirits of something coming, something big. For quite a few months, I personally, I'm sure others have, a sense of urgency, like a sense of doom. I remember when they announced Hurricane Helene, I saw the intensity and the magnitude of the hurricane and how big it was. And I didn't feel an urgency in my spirit, at least for my area, which is Central Florida. I thought to myself, it's not this one, I'm like, something else is coming. Even after it happened, I remember looking up in the sky, and the sky just looked so sad in Central Florida. That day that I saw it, which was like less than a week ago, I remember I told my family, I'm like, it looks so sad, this is not it, there's more coming and it's worse. A few days ago, I saw a man stating to evacuate Florida. Now in the video, he was using a lot of profanity and it instilled a lot of fear, but God is using anybody right now, whoever's willing to just open up their mouth. It caught my attention because I was listening to the video, obviously, because I'm in Florida, I listened to it. It was a part where he said that they're gonna flood Florida. And once again, I was reminded of the dream of my family evacuating out of Florida. At that time in July, when I was thinking the asteroid tsunami, as things have been happening, and that, you know, us being in the hurricane season, the peak of it, I'm starting to think that maybe it might not be the asteroid tsunami, but a hurricane causing these floods. When God speaks and lets us know of what's coming, it's not to scare us, but for us to prepare and look to him for specifics and details and the steps that he wants us to take for our family, for our area, whatever area we may find ourselves in. For sure, something's coming to Central Florida. It might not be this Hurricane Milton, it might just be the next one, maybe not either one, something else, but for sure something's coming, and we all need to prepare in Central Florida, specifically water. I feel like we can last a little longer without food, but not without water. We just all need to pray to God and ask him to let us know what steps he wants your family to take. Like I was saying, Florida is huge, and every area is affected differently. But as for Central Florida, we do need to prepare our homes physically and most importantly, spiritually, with the relationship that we have with God. If we haven't accepted God in our hearts yet, if we're not living for God, if there's still a sin that we're holding on to that we just can't let go, we have to be more disciplined with our flesh, get in his word, myself included, and look to the Holy Spirit for guidance, because for sure something's coming. So just pray on it, take it to God, and let him be the one that speaks to you.